Welcome, friends. Happy Wednesday. This is a very different episode because our producer isn't here. This is very
Well,
exciting. So,
the
I mean,
producer is you
listen,
today.
I am wearing all the hats today. It's very
Yeah.
exciting. So, welcome, friends. If you are new to this world, new to this realm, my name is Emma G, and my co-host here, Rawinia Judson. How you going, darling?
Kia ora, everyone. I'm great. I'm looking forward to this conversation today. I know I say that almost every week, but I think that a lot of the guests that we have on are people who are doing great work out in the world, and I'm just really excited to hear more about Terri, who she is, and the work that she's doing as well.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And I'm really excited about this particular conversation today because I've known Terry for years, like
Mm.
plural. She is a force to be reckoned with, and I will go into all of that very, very shortly. But the reason why I'm particularly excited for today is because you know this we've been running this podcast for what 15 weeks now.
15 weeks. Yeah. I know, right? It's
How
gone
is
so
that?
fast.
It's been over 3 months that you and I have been checking in with each other and checking in with the world, and
Mm.
I'm so excited about that. I'm so like grateful, and this whole thing obviously started because of your work as a leadership coach, an authenticity coach, right?
Mm.
And also my work as an empowerment through songwriting coach and musician, and just together, I feel like we're just so passionate about helping people really. Excel in life and learn how to be their best, boldest, most unapologetic selves in the world. And I'm really grateful for that, especially. And I know that you know this news, but this whole thing kind
Yeah.
of also
Drum roll.
culminated with the fact that I love this.
Drum
Culminated with
roll.
the fact that my book came out over the weekend, and yes, the drum roll, the
Drum
drums are
roll,
rolling. Can you hear it? Can you feel it?
please.
Can you feel it? The house sounds like this is out and is officially a number one Amazon best-selling book
Yeah.
in the songwriting
Woo.
category. So I'm really, really
Congratulations.
thank you. And
That's so amazing.
I couldn't be more excited about this because of today's conversation. Because you know, my whole thing has been around turning struggles into song. My whole thing is about turning pain into power. And Ra, our guest today, literally runs a series called Trauma to Triumph.
Mm-hmm.
How is that for alignment?
I was
I
about to say the alignment is just right on point.
It's
Yeah.
crazy. It's crazy. I feel like she's having a couple of technical glitches today, but hopefully we
Mm.
will get them all sorted. However, while we're waiting for her to get situated, please tell me a little bit more about how your week's been, how things are going. You've got some pretty big changes happening in your world. You've got some openings in your calendar. You've got like bring me in. What's going on with you, Ra?
Yeah. I'm going to be launching a group program soon, which is,
Oh,
and it is called Restore, and it is something that I feel like God has really put on my heart is to create this space for women to come together to really see themselves through the eyes of Jesus and to actually just really see their worth in him. And so it's been something I've been percolating on for a little while, listening to, and yeah, I'm really excited to launch that out into the world very soon. So that's really like been my focus and what I've been working on, and then also to enrolling to work with me one-on-one private coaching. I love private coaching. It's a space that I really thrive as a coach, especially when it comes to working with people in leadership positions. I really love that space and just supporting them to feel good, not only as a leader, because there's such a big responsibility being a leader, right? Like I'm sure that you can relate to that, and I'm sure that you can attest to that being a leader yourself, right? There's so much responsibility. We wear so many hats. And so I feel really honored and privileged whenever people choose to kind of partner with me and come into that space and let me into their world, because we're not just looking at who you are as a leader. We look at all of you. It's like, how are your relationships? How is your health and well-being? Like, are you actually enjoying life as well, and really seeking, or not seeking, but having that fulfillment? So so that's what I've been up to, what I've been working on. But mostly, if I'm being honest, I've been focusing on my personal relationships and my relationships with my family, the people that I love, and I think that there lies a lot of fruit.
Yeah, absolutely. I resonate with that so much, especially, I don't know if I even told you about this, but I'm looking at going back to New Zealand in March for a bit of a book tour and to do exactly that, reconnect with the roots and things. And just for 2 weeks, nothing crazy, but I'm really excited about that. And of course, again, there goes that alignment factor, because our guest today is also, every conversation I have has been very much rooted in talking about honoring the whole person, right? Especially when you're from DC, and I know you haven't been here to visit me yet, but it can be really hard to kind of get those roots established and sort of honor those roots. And so I'm really grateful for this woman's energy, the way she shows up holistically for her community, for the women in her life. She celebrates her own journey and is very unapologetically outspoken about where she comes from, what she's going through. But then, of course, pays tribute to everybody else's journeys, and, recognizing that, just because we may have had yucky spots in our lives and in our histories doesn't mean that makes us less of a human or whatever. So without further ado, she's sorted out her technical glitches. We are proud and honored to present to the stage Ms. Terri Long.
Yay! Yay! Welcome.
How are you, Terri? What's going on? Happy Wednesday.
Oh, thank you. Happy Wednesday. We're halfway through the middle of the week, ladies. Yes, thank you for your patience. Thank you for that amazing introduction. I'm really
saying it like it is, babe.
I'm so excited today. I really am. Technical glitches, that's just the enemy trying to stop greatness. We're not going to let it, though.
Yeah. Word. Yeah. I love it. I love it. So for those who don't know you, because again, I've had the privilege of sort of, knowing you and collaborating with you for multiple years now, but who is the mystery behind Terri Long? Because your online presence is, you tease people out a little bit, you give people snippets about who you are, but like when you get down to the nitty-gritty, what is Terri Long about? What got you inspired for the Trauma to Triumph project?
Oh wow, those are two different questions, but
okay, sorry.
Okay? I'll tackle them both. Who is Terri Long? I am really like your cousin, everybody's bestie. Depending on your age, I might be your auntie. Depending on who you are, you might be my sister. But I'm just like that regular girl, and who has a whole bunch of different areas in life that I do a lot of different things. I've come from a background of corporate America, but that's not my life now. So we can talk later about what happened to me in corporate America and how I landed in this entrepreneurship lane of mine. First and foremost, though, I am a mom. That is my biggest title. That is my biggest job. That is my biggest accomplishment in life, is being a mom. I'm not just a mom to my 3 kids, but I am, I think that I am, based on what my children have said, I've done really good with being their mom. But I'm also a mom to their friends, now to their friends who have friends. And, I'm a mom to people at work places where they call me their work mom, and so that just is a testament to my service. I serve my personality and myself to all of these other people. And that's what brings me joy. People say, well, what about you, Terri? I said, well, what fulfills me is making sure that I bring joy to others, my children, to people like Emma. You know, if there's something that I can do to bring joy in her life, whatever that is, if she says, hey, me and DJ want to come over and eat, I'm going to do it.
Oh,
You know
she
what I
does.
mean?
She does that. Yeah. And the food is good.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
And that's, you know, that's who I am. I'm a mom. I am now a caretaker for my mom who has dementia. That's probably a whole nother hour's worth of a conversation we could have about being a caretaker of someone who has dementia. I used to could say that I on paper, I'm still a wife, but I'm being transparent. I'm living through my own trauma right now. My own trauma to triumph right now is happening because my husband and I, we've been together, married for 8 years, been together for 10 years, and we just announced to the entire world that it didn't work. And we're not going to continue, faking and pretending. We're going to be happy as friends, and we're going to go our separate ways, and life goes on. And I want to be an example of someone who can show you all that you can be going through the hell of your life, like what I'm going through right now. It's hell going through a divorce from someone that I love deeply. The love didn't go away. It's just other stuff, right? Other shit in life. Can I cuss on here?
You do you, boo. You do you.
I'm sorry.
Are you good?
It's other stuff, you know, and it's really difficult, but I still have to serve. I'm still on platforms that I have to show up as Terri T. Bomb Long, going through my own real life trauma right now. And that's just who I am, though. That's who I am. I'm going to show the world that you can still hold your head up high. You can still be a happy person if you choose to, even while you're going through your own trauma. And I'm the living example of it right now, for sure. How did I get to trauma to triumph? That was life trauma again. I was working as director of benefits for one of the top law firms in the world for 10 years as director of benefit, which is the top position that you can have in a benefits department in corporate America. And I was that girl. But when I refused to get vaccinated for COVID, they let me go. I was making $250,000 salary. So there's only 2 people who agreed with me when I decided to stand on my position. And they were like, you can't do this, ma'am. You make $250,000. And a lot of women, and I don't have a college degree either. Let me just say that. I was able to climb the corporate ladder, become director without the benefit of a college degree. And I'm not knocking college degrees. I'm just a person who can show that there are other ways to become successful. There's another way. And I chose that way. I used my personality, my work ethic to climb the corporate ladder, became director of benefits, making $235,000 a year plus bonus, and walked away from it. Well, didn't walk away from it. They said, if you don't get the shot, you can't come back. And I said, I'm not doing it. And they let me go. And I have not been able to replace that job or that income since. So when I say I'm living through my own trauma, that's what Trauma to Triumph was developed after. I decided that I needed something to keep me going. I needed to tell my own story, as well as provide a platform for others to tell their story of real life trauma. And it can happen at different points of life. You know, I've experienced other trauma as a child and other things, but in my current life, that is the trauma that I'm living through. I apply for jobs, probably about 50 to 60 jobs a week. And it's been 3 years since I lost that job, and I still have not gotten a job. But that's because that's not where God wants me.
I mean, who wants a job, right? Feeding somebody else's dream. Like, I don't know. I'm all about feeding my own dream. Doing what God tells us to do, right?
Listen, clearly the powers that be agree with you, Emma. And he said, I'm not going to open those doors for you, Terri. You're going to stay with this Trauma to Triumph podcast, and you're going to just continue the course. And I'm going to see the fruits of my labor. That's what he keeps telling me. So I'm still doing it. And I'm still living through my trauma of trying to figure out how to make it from day to day without a job. Imagine losing $235,000 in a salary and you don't have a plan B. Imagine. But I'm doing it. I'm living proof right now. And I've been figuring it out. And now I'm hit with a divorce. I got to go through that. But I still choose joy. I still choose to be everybody's mom and auntie and cousin, because that's my purpose. My purpose is to continue to show that even living through trauma, even not even knowing how you're going to sustain yourself from month to month. Sometimes with me, it's from week to week. I still do this. I still do this on a regular basis.
Wow. I feel emotional hearing you share your story and hearing like what you are not only navigating, but what you've navigated. And I think there is so much beauty in your vulnerability and also your courage to stand up for what you know is right. But then also just, how you really honor God through the process. I'd love to know, because I know that trauma can be something that can be really debilitating for a lot of people, and it can stop them from getting up and doing things and taking action in different areas of their lives. So like, how do you navigate showing up whilst still being in this space of navigating your trauma? Because I think that would be really beneficial for other people to hear.
I allow myself the moments of what you just said. I have moments. I was just looking around at my condo this morning, and said, this ain't me. But I've gone, these last 2 weeks have been tough for me, and I've allowed myself to just be a slob. That's not me. I don't want my place looking a mess. And I probably still got dishes in the sink from 3-4 days ago. But I allow this for myself because I know that I'm human. And so I allow myself to go through what humans go through, knowing that still every day, though, I promise myself every day I continue to do one thing that is for someone else, whether it's my child, my grandchild, my mom, a friend. That's what keeps me going, because that lets me know my purpose is still being fulfilled. So even though I allow myself to be human behind closed doors, there are some days where I just wear my pajamas all day. I don't take a bath and I don't brush my teeth. I'm just telling the truth. I don't let that go on longer than 24 to 48 hours, but
but you let yourself be human.
Yeah.
But some days that's just what it is. And I allow that for myself. And then after I go through it, I pick myself back up by saying, what can I do for you today? What can I do today to make your life better? That's what keeps me going.
I love that. And I think so, because you kind of answered what I was gonna ask, especially as somebody who, you're continually pouring into other people's cups. You're continually, yes, you recognize that you're the mother, the aunt, the cousin of everybody, but you not only have hosted the Trauma to Triumph documentary series, docuseries, whatever the term is, but you've also, which has highlighted obviously other people's stories and celebrated their Trauma to Triumph stories, which, by the way, Ra, I'm humbled to be one of those participants.
Yes, she is.
Watch
Can't
this
wait
space.
for that to come out.
Yes, ma'am. But one of the, I've also seen you being very unapologetic on public news platforms, like the Good Morning DC show or Good Day DC, about your your breakup. You've talked, you've elevated your own mother on an international scale with her TikTok series, which again, Ra, if you haven't checked out, her mother is amazing. Convos with Carrie, amazing. This woman is unapologetic. Like, you can tell why Terri is who she is because of her mother, dementia or not. But you also mentioned like the importance of honoring the yuck, right? While moving forward to our yum, which I think is really important. It's one of the things that I talk to my clients all the time about. We're forced, especially as women and young women, to kind of shrug off and ignore the yuck and sort of focus all of our energy on our yum, almost the fake it till you make it kind of mentality, which I don't think serves anybody. How do you balance that to make sure that you are always showing up authentically, always, honoring that yuck, but also continuing to be authentic in how you're showing up for other people?
I use my platforms to tell the truth. Like, I do a lot of lives, and when I'm going through the yuck, I talk about it. I'll say, this day, my 55th birthday was crap, and it's supposed to be a milestone birthday. And I tell my story, and it's freeing. It's liberating. There's nothing that I feel like, I have to hide. I want people to know that it's okay to go through yucky moments. That's being human. And if you try to fake it or you try to mask it, I feel like that will just like a person will be like a ticking time bomb. You know? And I don't want that for myself. I've raised 2 daughters. They're 31 and 29. They watch me. Even my 17-year-old son, he watches me, and others watch. And I want to be an example of, everything that you can be, and you don't have to be fake about it. You can be like, what, these last 2 weeks, I hardly could get out of bed. I've been just eating microwave popcorn and, not taking my vitamins the way I'm supposed to. Yeah. It's not going to stay that way though. It won't rain forever. And I know that because I've been through enough stuff to know it won't rain forever. So allow yourself to go through the yuck. And for me, it helps me to talk about it. I'm very transparent about what I'm going through. And it helps me keep the right balance because I don't have it all bottled up. I'm not embarrassed about anything that I'm going through. I get slammed a lot of times on social media, a lot of times. Oh, you got your stomach hanging out, your fupa. I don't care. I'm still sexy. I don't care. You know what I mean? I've had 3 kids. So yeah, I got a stomach. And so what? I'm one of those so what girls. So what? I'm not going to show up every day on live looking like, a fashion model. I'm not going to show up that way all the time. Sometimes you're going to see me at Target and I'm going to look homeless probably, maybe. But I'm still me. It's still me. I'm still the same girl every time, whether I'm on the red carpet, which you'll see me. And when I'm on the red carpet, baby, I show up. Okay.
Oh, I've seen it.
But you might find me the next day at Target. Like, what? Is that her? Is that the co-host, the spotlight over the city? Yes. That's me. Yeah, I'm never going to allow the world to put me in a box and say, well, because she's on these platforms, we expect her to look a certain kind of way every day. Right. Never will I ever agree to that. You're going to see me the way I am, however I'm feeling that day. That's what it's going to be.
I wrote a song about that. It's called Puppet. I'm like, I refuse. I'm not your puppet. I love that.
I refuse.
Yeah.
I refuse. I refuse to wear heels every day. Like what you see a lot of influencers look and do. I'm cheers to you. But that's just not going to be me ever. Ever.
I just love so much of what you shared, especially about like how being transparent and sharing your story really supports you with your process. What's been the thing that's really supported you to show up, like just as you are, authentically, like in your full expression, to kind of share all the ups and downs? Because, you mentioned like, wearing masks and the different facades that a lot of people wear, right? Because typically it's safer for us out in the world to show up in that way. At least that's what a lot of people experience. So what's been the thing for you that's really supported you to kind of strip away any masks that you might have had in the past and just be like, hey, like, this is me, like, here, world, this is me. I'm going to show up. I'm going to perhaps look homeless, while I'm at the supermarket sometime, and I don't care. And, I think that there is so much freedom in being able to show up in that way. So, yeah, I'd love to hear what's been something that's really supported you.
It's been the word. And what I mean by the word is I have gone through a lot of different readings and stuff. And what I do now is I convince myself every day I am an extraordinary woman. And I serve an extraordinary God. I am part of an extraordinary family of believers who lead extraordinary lives. That's how I start my day every day. No matter what I'm feeling on the inside, no matter how many times I've cried the night before about my divorce or about my grandbaby, whatever it is, every single day, I still do that same affirmation. And you'd be surprised that even in moments where I didn't feel like I was extraordinary, when I continue to confess that to myself, and now I share it with other women. So every morning at 8:15, I initiate a call and I let other women join me. And I say, I am an extraordinary woman. I say the whole thing to them and I make them say it too. And it's just becoming a thing. It's been going on for a couple years now. And it really helps my mind, how I move. It really helps me balance the things that you just said. Like, it helps me feel so free and confident about who God created me to be. No matter how I'm looking externally, I know every day, if I continue to remind myself, I'm still an extraordinary woman, regardless of whether or not I'm going through my third divorce. I'm being transparent. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I've tried it 3 times and this is my third divorce, and I'm not bragging about it. I'm just saying, even while going through that, I'm still extraordinary. I am. I'm an extraordinary woman. And so I believe 1,000% in affirming yourself. And I didn't always know that. I didn't know that in my 20s and 30s and maybe early 40s. I didn't know that. I just struggled through life like everybody else, and, you know, just like falling by the wayside kind of. But now, because I have something else different inside of me, and I continue to repeat that all the time, I'm an extraordinary woman. I serve an extraordinary God. I don't know about I don't know about y'all, but that's who I am. And I just know that it's expected of me to be that. And in order to be extraordinary, you have to be your authentic self, whatever that is. Because if you know who you are on the inside, doesn't matter what other people think, doesn't matter what other people say, none of that stuff matters. When you really get to this point and you know who you are on the inside, you can be it. You can show up that way all the time.
It's that champion's mindset, right? Like, it's really recognizing that, you know, we are what we tell ourselves we are.
Yes.
Right. And that's our reality. I wrote a song about it after I, you know, finally opened the Bible and, you know, read the whole I am the great I am, recognizing that the words I am are the most powerful words in the English language. Whatever we say, you know, I wrote a song about it called I Am, because for me, that helps things stick in my brain, is when you turn affirmation into song. But I bring that up because, you know, you have many I am statements. And as we evolve, as we age, as we experience new things, I feel like we tend to sort of collect I ams in many ways, right? And I was talking to a girlfriend of mine just earlier today about how easy it is to sometimes fall off that I am wagon and, you know, self-doubt, have my favorite imposter syndrome. And right. And I, as we were talking this morning, I remember saying to her, you know, the whole idea of imposter syndrome, isn't that a weird thing? Because it's literally questioning source, the universe, God, whatever it is that you believe in as you're listening to this. Yep. You know, you're questioning God's knowing of who he created you to be. And so as you were talking about, you know, your I am affirmation statements, I think that's just such a powerful thing for women that are listening to this right now, and men, to be fair.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm curious to know, has there ever been a time when you felt like the I am statements haven't necessarily served you as much as you would like them to? And what's your, like, do you turn to your community? Do you turn to the social media likes as opposed to the negative comments? Like, what is it that helps you keep your cup full?
It is my tribe of people who love me. Those are the people, your people. Those are the people that matter, right? And so I have moments where I don't feel like I am. I'm like, I am not. And I will have one of my really close accountability sister, partner, friends check me and say, yes, you are. You are all of these things to us. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't be able to figure this out. Or if it wasn't for you, remember how you helped me do this. You know, there are people who come across my path that I've forgotten about, who I sewed into them years ago as whatever role I was in back then. And so those are the people. So you have to have your people, whoever they are, whether it's family, friends. I have a little bit of all of it, like a few family members, a few girlfriends, a few associates that are not really close personal friends, but they know enough about me and my personality that if I'm having a moment where I'm feeling like I ain't it no more, I'm not, they'll tell me, yeah, you are. Don't forget about, you did this, you did that, you did this, or you are this. Look at your children. Your children are an example of the kind of woman you are. Look at your mom. Your mom is exact. So people, my people, my tribe, they remind me, and I call them angels on earth. God gives us all those types of people. We just have to know how to identify who our people are. And once we have them, use them. Listen to them. They tell you stuff. God uses other people, and they can remind you of who you are when you're having moments of doubt, because I have them. Trust me. I'm like, I'm some shit. I can't help. I've got 3 husbands and still don't have a man. What the heck? You know what I mean? But my tribe have reminded me over and over again every day. No, ma'am, you are great. You are still the prize. And whoever gets you in this part of your life, they're going to be the luckiest, happiest man on earth. And so I believe it. And then that's what keeps me going. I believe it. Because everybody don't get together and tell the same lie. So if they're all saying these things, it's true.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, I mean, if you're hearing that frequently from multiple different people, right? Like, then how can that be a lie? And those words, those words are needed, especially when we're in those moments of self-doubt.
Absolutely.
I love that so much. Okay. Of course, we have hit our time marker.
I
know. We haven't even talked about Trauma to Triumph. Can we talk a little bit, like 30-second plug? Go for gold. Tell us about it.
Triumph is a podcast that I developed out of my own trauma. It is now streaming on YouTube. We've just gotten through 1 episode, but we've got tons of amazing episodes coming up for you. We are slow getting this thing going because we're learning as we go. We're learning how to edit. You know, I only have a 2-3 man team, and one of the men is me, and we're figuring it all out. But we've got our first episode. It's on YouTube, Trauma, the number 2 Triumph. And I would love for everybody to subscribe and support this movement. Some of the stories coming up are going to knock your socks off. I can't wait for you all to even hear Emma's story. She's gone through some traumas herself, but look at her now. And I'm just grateful for the support that I know you all are going to get. All the people out there are going to come pouring into this podcast. I just know it. So please check it out. It's on YouTube, Trauma to Triumph. We'll be dropping more episodes as we figure it all out.
Yeah, no, I love that. And it's funny because as we were recording our episode, like, you know, one of the things that I discovered about myself when I was doing my first TED Talk, my second TED Talk, and then, you know, this podcast interview with you, is that, you know, there's always so much depth to our stories, right? And so I was really humbled to be able to be given an opportunity to share the layers beneath the stories. And so I think that's what, you know, that's one of the superpowers that you have as a host, is to really dig into those layers. Of course, I hadn't even started writing my book when we had the interview. So that's wild. But,
you've got your own set of superpowers, ma'am. I mean, you just told me you wrote a book after you had the podcast. I mean, that was still this year. So
that was, yeah.
You are a superhero in your own rights, in your own lane, Emma. And I have always admired you, and that hasn't stopped. I'm super, super proud of your journey, and you're a trailblazer in your own lane.
Well, I think we all are. Like, and that's part of the magic of you know, of what you put out into the world comes back to you, you know. I think, and that's one of the things that Ra and I have found over and over again during this podcast series, is just recognizing that everybody that we have had on here just exudes fabulosity. And yes, I said exudes.
And I love the word fabulosity.
You love that.
Yeah.
So what's the best way for people to keep in touch with you, Terri, and how can they get more involved? Obviously there's Trauma to Triumph on Spotify, sorry, on YouTube. But how else can we get involved with you and your mission?
I am all over social media. Terri Long, Terri Long, put it in there. I'm on all social media platforms. I'm very responsive to my DMs, my inbox messages. You can email me, and the email address is info@trauma2triumph.com. info@trauma2triumph.com. I respond to all the emails. I'm looking for future guests to be on the podcast. If you know someone who's gone through a real life trauma and they'd love to sit down with me, please get in my emails or in my inboxes and let me know. I'm very responsive to all of that. And Convos with Carrie, I manage my mom's brand as well. So anything Convos with Carrie or Terri Long, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, all of that stuff. That's where you can find me. I'm very active and I stay engaged with you all. So I try to get back and respond to everybody.
I'm sensing a theme here, Ra. I think that what Terry's trying to say is mental health sounds like talking about it.
Yes. Talk about it.
Yeah. I mean, it normalizes what people are experiencing, right?
We cannot be testimonies if we keep our stuff a secret.
Yeah.
We can't help others if we don't share.
Yeah.
Everybody doesn't have superpowers like we have. We have to use our superpowers to share and help others that don't have it.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome.
And that's what you all are doing with your platform. So thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And I think our producer has found your mother on TikTok. So let's show her for a second while we get ready to close the show. She's amazing.
That's my mama. And she might say some things, she's got dementia, so she doesn't remember, how we all know if I want to say something, if someone is saying something and I want to say something back to them, but I know I shouldn't say it, I won't, because I know I shouldn't. My mom doesn't have that thing anymore that tells her, hey, I know you think that way, but don't say it. She's gonna say it. And that's what makes her videos so funny and just so heartfelt, because she doesn't understand how to not say what she feels anymore.
Which I think we could probably all benefit from sometimes.
I was going to say that. I was like, how, wouldn't that help you? Wouldn't that help a lot of people to just be able to say what they feel unfiltered?
Okay, that's a challenge today, ladies. Go forth and be unapologetically honest for the rest of the day, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, friends. Well, thank you so much for tuning in for another episode of Real Talk with Emma G and Ra. As you've heard today, our guest, Terri Long, was fantastic. Eli even said, great chat, y'all. And so good to see you, rock stars, again. So good to see you guys. Thank you so much. I don't know if you missed the announcement, Terri, but yes, the book is out, but it's also a bestseller now on Amazon, #1 in the songwriting category. So I'm super, super grateful.
Go, Emma. Go, Emma.
Listen. But again, this is my tribe, my village. This is what it's all about. We support each other, and I just want to say, send big aroha to everybody who has bought the book, who came to the crowded release event on Sunday, and of course to Rawania for helping this mission, joining forces with me on this mission for the past 3 and some months.
And it's going to keep going. It's going to keep going.
Yes.
Of course. Awesome. So Trauma to Triumph, guys. That's Trauma, the #2, Triumph. Keep in touch. All those notes will be in the show notes down below this video. If you're listening on the podcast, just Google Terri Long, Trauma to Triumph. This is how we roll. Yes, ma'am. Until next week, friends. Famous last words, Ra?
Be good, be kind, spread love, like it's going out of fashion. I was like, you say it, and I'm like, but you have said it enough. Now that I know what to say, you always say that. Yeah.
Well, we need to. Love is a good thing. Okay. Okay. Cool. Okay. Have a good one, guys. See you later.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.